Hello and welcome to 2025 Vlogmas. My name is Sarah. This channel is where I share all about my crafty projects. It's mostly knitting, but we're gonna have some spinning and some quilting and a few other crafty things sprinkled in throughout the month of December. I am coming to you from Columbus, Ohio, where I live with my partner Troy and our cats Alex, Moo, and Elsie, who you will surely be seeing all of them in these episodes. I'm so excited to be kicking off Vlogmas this year. I have so many exciting projects laid out here in front of me, and today is my kind of kickoff episode, so I'm going to take you through everything. Before we do that, you can find me on Instagram or Ravelry. Those are linked down in the description box below, but Instagram is at Sarah_Seams and Ravelry is at Sarah Ribble. Love to chat with you there or below in the comments. Let's have a fun discussion, a holiday chat in the comments. So my plan for Vlogmas, just to bring you along on the journey, is to post about every 3 days. So this kickoff video will be coming out on December 1st. So excited. I can't wait to watch everyone else's Vlogmases. Tell me your favorite Vlogmas below. I definitely need more and more. I can't get enough. But I will be posting videos then every 3 days. So the next video I post will cover December 1st through 3rd. Today is actually November 30th. Getting a little preview for you here. So I'll be posting every couple of days, and then I'll probably post one extra video after Christmas Day just to kind of wrap everything up and put a bow on it. You can see my craft room is all nice and festive. I am wearing one of my favorite festive sweaters, This is a crochet sweater. It is a crochet raglan sweater. This was actually made for me by my mom. I do not have the pattern or yarn information. I'm sorry. I will try to get that from her, and if I can, I'll put it in the description box below. But I love this color. It feels very high holiday. So that is what I'm wearing today. And yeah, do you want to know what I'm going to be working on this month? So I have, as I said, bitten off way more than I can chew. I have so many projects in front of me. So I've kind of grouped them into a couple of different buckets. So I have the first bucket, which are things I want to try to at least work on every day in like an Advent style. And then I have things that will be some days if I have time. And then lastly, I have a couple things that are just like one-off projects. And the way the month of December usually goes for me, and this year is no different, is that the first week of December is really busy for work for me. So this coming week, I will definitely be in the office all day, every day. We have a week-long meeting. It can be pretty intense. I'm also teaching some knitting classes this month, so it's going to be a really busy month, but this first week is always the busiest, so I will probably have a little bit less crafting time in the first week than I will the rest of the month. But I do get a nice long holiday break before Christmas, so I will get like basically the last 10 days of the year off, and then basically between like Christmas and New Year, I have that time off. So I'll have a nice long break with lots of crafting at the end, and I'll still be knitting every day. But the first week is always a little bit more light on the knitting content. I'll still have lots of fun stuff to share with you, but anyway, I'm rambling now. Okay. Let's talk projects. So things I want to knit on every day, and at least try to knit on every day. The first one I'm so excited about, I am doing a pair of Advent socks. So the first, excuse the crinkling, the past couple of years, I have purchased the Woolens and Nosh Advent sock, where you get the whole skein of self-striping yarn and you knit one stripe a day. And I loved doing that. I love the whole stripe a day thing. But this year I wanted to have a little bit more control over what the socks were gonna look like. So what I did was I went into my stash, again, excuse the wrinkling. I pulled out 20 colors, including these 3 here, that felt like holiday, kind of fun, festive colors to me. So for me, that includes pink. And I numbered them, I laid them out and I numbered them 1 through 20. And then what I did was I basically rolled a 20-sided die, or like I used a random number generator for this. And I picked 3 colors. So the 3 that I selected for the first day were these 3. Oh, the pink is so bright, it's blowing out. So super fun, super festive. And what I'm gonna do is, I've actually gotten a little bit of a head start on these already. I'm gonna be knitting a pair of toe-up socks. So I started with white toes. I got the toes done. And then what I'm gonna do is have you all vote every day during Vlogmas to pick the color of my next stripe. So this was inspired by Anina at Ani UT Knits, who did something similar the past couple of years, and I loved voting in her stories every day. So fun. So I'm trying that out this year. If you want to vote, make sure you're following me on Instagram, and then every day in my story you'll be able to vote for which color you want next. So I can't wait to see what you all choose. But these were the first 3 colors. This poll is up already, so you won't be able to vote on this one because it'll be in the past for you. But you'll see the one that was chosen here, and then you'll be able to vote on the rest of them. So really excited. I don't know yet which one is going to be the first stripe, but let's say, for example, the pink wins because that's the one that's winning right now. What I'm going to do is knit 2 solid stripes, and then I'm going to do a row of 1x1 color work with the color and the white. So it'll be alternating a little row of like flea stitch basically, and then 2 rows of the pink. So there'll be a chunk of this color with a single row of 1x1 color work with the white in the middle. So I think that's gonna be really cute. I can't wait to cast these on. I love a project where the color making decisions are not made by me. So the idea of letting you all pick these colors is so fun to me, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. So I'm really excited to start on those tomorrow morning. That is one of the first things. I don't even have room for all of my projects here. Okay, the next thing is my big advent calendar. So this year I treated myself to the Fiber Fox Advent. I have admired this when everyone else has gotten it the past few years. She is based out of England, I believe, so it was not cheap to get this here. There were tariffs on it this year, but it does feel really special and really worth it. They always do an absolutely beautiful, like very subtle fade. And this year I think we're gonna have yellow and green and peach and pink and blue and purple, and it's kind of inspired by wildflowers. So yes, you can see it comes in this gorgeous box. I already opened the first day. I'm sorry if you just got a little peek at that. And it did come with this lovely card that has the color names for each color. And it also came with a set of custom stitch markers that are really, really cute. And these are made just for this box. So this is the Cottage Garden Crystal Stitch markers. I'll definitely be using those on my project. And this is how they come packaged up. So each one is wrapped in this cute brown paper with a little sticker for the day number on it. And as I said, I did go ahead and open the first one because of what I'm making with this. So let me show you that. I am going to be making the Wildflower Pullover. Is that right? Is that the right name? Yes, by Andrea Gahn. And I'll put a photo of it in here. This is an all over colorwork fingering weight sweater. So I want to level set. I'm not expecting to finish this during December, but I want to at least work on it every day. And my goal would be to finish each day's color in the body if I can. My goal would be to finish the body by the end of December. I don't know if that's going to be possible or not. This is going to be a lot of knitting. It is also very oversized. I am also off gauge, so I'm having to knit an even larger size with more stitches than I would normally knit. So I think there's a high likelihood that I'm not gonna finish the body in the month of December, but my goal is to at least work on it every day and open the yarns every day and add them in. So let me show you. I did go ahead and get a little bit of a head start on this as well because I wanted to get the ribbing done. As I said, it's bottom up. This is fingering weight 1x1 ribbing, 2 inches of it. So this did take quite a while to knit, and I knew I wanted to get this done. So the yarn I'm using as my main color, this gorgeous navy, is Treehouse Knits Sequoia Sock, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and the color is Solstice. So here is their label. And I think I got this in a D-stash, and I have like 4 or 5 skeins of it, so I should have more than enough. like I said, I opened the day one color because I wasn't 100% sure if this yarn was gonna work for this project, and I wanted to do a swatch. So I am gonna go ahead and show the day one color. If you have this advent and you don't wanna see this, I would skip ahead like 5 minutes, just not even 5 minutes. Skip ahead like a couple minutes in the video because I'm gonna talk about it, or come back tomorrow. So fair warning, if you have the Fiber Fox Advent calendar for this year and you don't want to see the day one color, skip ahead a few minutes because I'm going to show it in 3, 2, 1. Here's my swatch. So what I wanted to check for was, do I like the fabric I get with these yarns? Because this sweater has only been knit with non-superwash yarn, as far as I can tell by the tester projects on Ravelry. These are superwash yarns. So I wanted to make sure I was still going to like the fabric. So I went ahead and made just like a little circular swatch. The fabric is really nice. I do really like it. I wanted to make sure I was gonna get credit for the motif and have enough stitch definition, and I think I do, and I really love how it looks. However, my gauge is smaller, like I have more stitches per inch than the pattern calls for. So normally I would have knit a size, let's see, F in this pattern, which is the 6th size, but because I want to use this gauge, I didn't want to go up a needle size because I was afraid it would get kind of gapey. I really liked this fabric, so I'm keeping this gauge, but that means that I have to knit 2 sizes larger, size H, to achieve the body circumference that I want, which is, as I said, oversized. So I'm going for about a 55.5-inch circumference because I want this to be a big cozy sweater. So that means, yeah, I have over 400 stitches in the body. So it is definitely going to take a long time. However, it's very intuitive to knit. You don't have to catch any floats. I think the color combo is lovely. And to explain how I'm going to kind of incorporate the fade, here's my plan. I am planning to knit half of each flower motif in one of the mini colors from the Advent. So there are about 12 or 13 repeats of the flower in the body of the sweater, and I have 24 different mini colors. So the first day of minis will go to about halfway, and then the second day will finish out that motif. So each row of flowers is going to be comprised of 2 colors, and it will just kind of gradually fade up the body of the sweater and then mimic on the sleeves. I definitely have more than enough yarn to achieve this, so I'm really excited. This honestly looks even better on camera, so I think it's gonna be gorgeous. Very excited. But as I said, it is a lot of stitches, so I'm really glad that I already got the ribbing done. I think it looks really nice, and I can't wait to cast this on. Well, I guess I already cast on. I can't wait to start adding the color work in tomorrow. I'm really excited, but definitely not gonna finish it in December. I don't even wanna like give myself that false expectation. It's gonna take a really long time to knit, but I just wanna make sure I'm making progress on it every day. All right, next I have a big box full of yarn. So my friend Jess and I have exchanged Christmas gifts the past 2 or 3 years. We met through the La Mercerie holiday sock swap, which I was so excited to see that they brought it back this year. I think it's a really great way to meet other knitters and receive like a little holiday gift from a knitter. But Jess and I this year, in January, we buddy knit D20 sweaters, which is basically a way to knit like a totally randomized sweater using scrap yarns. So for our holiday this year, for our holiday box, we are exchanging Scrappy Advents so that in January we can knit D20 sweaters again together. So this is my Scrappy Advent from Jess, and my plan is to just open this every day and show you what I got. And then at the end of the month, I'll have a gorgeous scrappy yarn collection to make a sweater from next year. So this is just a fun one that we get to open together every day and look at. All right. Oh, now that I'm going through all this, it's way too much. As usual, this is my MO. I have one other kind of daily knitting project. So this was a very last minute ad, so it's probably the last priority, but we'll see. I recently found out that my future sister-in-law loves gnomes, and especially loves like holiday gnomes. And I've always wanted to knit one of the like Sarah Shira gnomes, but they're not really my personal decor taste. But now that I have an excuse to make one for someone else, I really wanted to do her holiday gnome knit along. I think this year it's called like Nan Dad's Adventure or something. So I'm gonna be doing that. And I'm really excited. It's basically you buy the like experience, I think. So you get the pattern, but you kind of get like an email with a little, it's a mystery knit along. So you get a little pattern update in your email inbox every day for I think 21 days. And it sounds like there's not knitting every day. Some days are like a little bit of the story that goes along with it or like a recipe. So I don't think there's gonna be knitting every day, which is great. But I think this will be a really fun little extra project, and then I can gift it to my future sister-in-law at the holidays. And this one I think is gonna be like ski inspired. So it did say as an accessory that you could buy little skis for the gnome. So I'm gonna have to find those. They said you could use popsicle sticks, but I'm like, I think I need the miniature skis. But anyway, here are my colors. I followed the recommended palette as closely as I could using scraps that I already have. So to start, we have like a pretty dark tealy blue. There is then like a bluish gray. There is a light kind of creamy color. And then lastly, there was a bit of a color pop, which for me is this teal. So he's definitely more of like a wintry palette than like a high holiday Christmas palette, but I think it's gonna be very, very cute, and hopefully my person will love it. So that I am really excited about. I've wanted to knit one of those for such a long time. So really, really think that it'll be super fun. And my last daily thing, which this is a higher priority one, and I've actually already gotten a start on this as well. I am doing a daily Advent spin. So I really wanted to try and find some kind of Advent, like fiber Advent with like different ones every day, but I couldn't really find anything like that locally or, you know, at the wool festivals I was at. So I decided to just get 3 braids of fiber, and I'm going to use those as my holiday spin. So I basically broke each one down into 8 strips, and my goal is to just spin one every day. So that would get me finished in 24 days. So that's why I started early, because I would love to have this yarn like finished and wound and ready to cast on as my Christmas Day cast on. So I needed to get a little bit ahead. So I started this a couple days ago, so I'm actually 4 days ahead. Let me show you the fiber. I think I will have put photos in before this, so hopefully you saw them already, but I'll just quickly tell you about them. I got all of these from Oink Pigments at the Wool Gathering, which is a small wool yarn festival in Yellow Springs, Ohio. This was in September. The first one is probably my favorite, the one I'm spinning now, which is this kind of red and white, like candy cane striped fiber. It's so good. This is their Cumulus base, and it is 80% extra fine superwash merino. So this is my first time spinning superwash merino, and 20% cashmere. So it's very slippery, it's pretty quick to spin, and it takes a lot of twist, but I'm really liking how it's turning out. The color here is just limited edition. I'll actually show you here on my wheel how it's going. So here's where we're at. There is actually a little bit of like blue and green in there as well. So really loving how that's spinning up. I'm hoping to get around a worsted weight out of this when it's finished. And well, let me finish showing you the fiber and then I'll tell you what I'm gonna make. The second one is this, which is a little bit more red, a little bit more purple. This is the Superwash Targhee Fluff. It's 100% Superwash Targhee, and it's another limited edition color. And the last one, which was actually the first one I grabbed, was a limited edition festival colorway, and that was this. And I loved this because it has the green and a little bit of that purple and red. I just thought it was really, really pretty. This is their Polworth Silk Fluff. So it's 85% Polworth, 15% Tussa Silk. And this was called Thrumming Bird, which was the custom colorway for the Wool Gathering this year. So my plan for these, and I'm like itching to cast this on, is to do the Drea Renee Knits Andrea Mallory jaunty shawl. So this was a newer release from her. It's a half fisherman rib triangle shawl. And at first I was like, it's not like blowing me away. But ever since then I've been seeing everyone else's hand spun versions. and they are gorgeous. And I think this would just be like a really nice therapeutic Christmas Day cast on. And I just really can't wait. So that is my plan for this. As I said, I'm going for about a worsted weight to cast on a jaunty shawl. The other thing I'll be doing most days, and you're probably like, this is way too much, and yes, you're right, but this one's easy. So throughout the year, I knit a bunch of socks. I'm an avid sock knitter, and I kind of set them aside all year in these little cedar boxes. So these are all the socks I knit for myself this year. And then at the end of the year during Vlogmas, I kind of gift them to myself and I can wear them throughout the month. So I have 14 pairs of socks in here. So I'll probably give one to myself like every other day, and then maybe the last few days before Christmas every day. So just a little sneak peek for you. I will talk about them more in detail as they come up, but that's something I like to do throughout the month of December as well. Okay, that's it for the daily, semi-daily things. I have a few other things that I would like to get to if I have time, which these kind of fall into the category of things that probably won't get worked on in the first week or so, just because I'm gonna be so busy with work. But I think later in the month, I will definitely have more time to focus on these. And there's 2 pairs of socks and a quilting project. So let's talk about the socks first. The next one I would like prioritize after my Advent socks are a pair of self-striping socks. I also got this yarn at the wool gathering this year, and I'm so obsessed with this. Look at it. Look at how sparkly it is. So this is from Hinkston Handmade. They have such a cute label. And this is their shiny sock base. It's 80% superwash merino, 20% stellina. It is called Gingerbread House, and I think that describes it perfectly. And I went ahead and got started on these already too, because I was just kind of desperate for a vanilla sock. I just started this last night, and here's what I have so far. So this is the full color repeat. Aren't they just gorgeous? I am obsessed. So you've got brown and then the kind of warm colors, and then brown and then the kind of cool colors. And I just think these are so cute. I am just gonna be knitting a vanilla sock with these top down, 2x2 rib cuff, and then a stockinette leg. And the kind of fun wrinkle with these is that I've decided to time myself and see how long it takes me to knit a pair of socks, because I've seen a lot of other makers doing this, and I'm just really curious now, like how long it takes me, because I knit a lot of socks. I don't really have to follow a pattern for something like this, and I just want to know. It's not meant at all to compare or make anyone feel like they're not fast enough or they're too, no. I just personally would like to know for myself. People ask me all the time, how long does it take you to knit that? And I never know what to say to them. I just say a long time. So I'm going to be timing myself just to figure out for my own purposes how long it does take me to knit a pair of socks, because I'm curious. And so far, this took me about an hour and a half. So I thought that was pretty good progress for an hour and a half. So I'm not gonna like scrimp out on them. I'm not trying to knit extra fast. I just am going at my normal pace, trying to see how long it takes me. And I am gonna knit the leg to like 5 or 6 inches. I'm not knitting like shorties or anything. So yeah, that'll be a fun little thing to follow along with when I get to knitting them later in the month. The next pair of socks, I think I will probably make less progress on these, but I was really excited to cast them on. So Summer Lee recently released her new shorty sock set that is inspired by Fair Isle knitting, and I'm obsessed with all these patterns. Her color choices, they're so gorgeous. So I wanted to cast on a pair of these that felt like holidays. So I'm casting on this pair. There's 3 different designs, but this is the one I'm casting on. I've already cast it on, but just barely. And I'll show you my colors. So my main color is going to be this pink. It is also sparkly, so we've got lots of sparkles going on. And then my contrast colors are pink, red, blue, and this kind of variegated white. These are all just scraps that I had, so I think these are going to be super festive. As I work on them more, you'll see the color placement and everything, but all I did was cast on the cuff and just barely start the first couple rows of color work. I'm a little bit worried there's not going to be enough contrast between this pink and this white, just because the white also has some pink speckles in it. So you're losing that definition a little bit, but I think it'll be fine. So yeah, that's my third sock project if I have time. These ones are the last priority for sure, although they are very fun. And then the last sometimes thing, and I don't expect to finish this in December either, but I am doing Quilt Miss again. So I have done Quilt Miss twice. This will be my third time. They didn't do it last year, but the year before that they did, and a year or two before that. And basically what this is 12 different quilt designers get together and they each contribute a different block design. So it's kind of like a sampler quilt, but they're really, really fun. I hopefully had a little bit of footage in the intro of the one I made a couple years ago. It had kind of like a slate gray background with some like fun red and pink and green. And the motifs are always just so cute. That one had like a little bird and a house in a snow globe. Like they can be really intricate, but it's really, really fun. And I wasn't gonna do it this year, but then they released like a teaser for the design and I was like, oh, these are all gonna be really cute. And then they released a kit and I was like, oh, I love the kit. I love the colors. And I don't really have a holiday quilt for in here in the craft room. I have my Sawtooth Star quilt that I always have in here, which I love. And then I have this little holiday like throw blanket, but I would really like to have like a Christmas quilt for this room. So I decided that I was gonna do it again. And I did go ahead and buy the kit. So I'll just flash that to you real quick. The idea is that they release one block a day for the first 12 days of December. There's no way I'm going to be able to keep up with that this year. I will hopefully be able to work on this more in like the middle and the end of the month. But yeah, I'm just going to get to what I get to. And if I have to finish it in early next year or next Christmas, that's okay. But it can be really, really fun. And I would love to show you the blocks if and when I get them finished. But here's the kit. So I just loved, these are all the solid colors. I mean, they're speaking to me with the slatey blues, the pink and the red. I mean, these are just like, love this holiday palette. And then the backing will be this really cute pink with the stars. So I just had to get this. I'm so excited. Hopefully I'll be able to work on it some during Vlogmas. I'm sure I will find some time. So those are my sometimes projects. And then lastly, I have a couple of like one-off things. So this year, earlier in the year, I knit a bunch of these tiny tree socks. So this is a pattern by Summer Lee. And for the first like 6 months of this year, whenever I finished a pair of socks, I would knit like a tiny version of the sock to go in here. And I'm gonna string these all onto a little garland. So I'm gonna do that at some point. I'll find somewhere cute to hang it in here, but I probably have like 25 of these and they're really cute and miniature. So that's something I wanna do. I also have knit 8 pairs of socks for my partner Troy this year, and I'm gonna be gifting those to him at some point, but I will definitely open these up and show you those at some point, which will be fun. And as if that's not enough, I would also love to make a tree skirt for this tree and possibly for our large tree that we have in our breezeway. I don't know if that's gonna happen this year, but those could be little one-off projects. I also always make a little tiny knitted ornament for my sister. Usually it's a Mochi Mochi Land little like tiny amigurumi. Last year I made a little walrus. 2 years ago I made a little polar bear, so we'll see this year what she's gonna get. I usually do that on like Christmas Eve. It only takes like an hour or two. So yeah, that's it. That is what I'm gonna be getting up to this month, along with like all the festive things we always do. We'll be going out in the city to do holiday things. We'll be doing holiday things at work. We will bake cookies with my family, and we'll spend a lot of time getting cozy and knitting. So I'm sure if that was as overwhelming for you as it was for me, yeah, I think we're gonna have a good time. I'm really excited to start these projects, and I hope that you will come along for the month of December with me, get cozy, get knitting. And yeah, please, if you have a favorite Vlogmas, tell me down below. As I said, I'm always looking for more Vlogmas. And I've now yabbered on for 30 minutes, so I will stop here. I'm just so excited to get started tomorrow. I hope that you'll follow on Instagram and vote on my sock colors, because that will be a fun way to get involved. So Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, ring the bell icon so you can get notified when my Vlogmas videos are coming out, and I will see you for the first one in just a couple days. Bye.